Hello friends, welcome to another session of my financial analysis. From my predictions, we have NVIDIA and Gold. We'll be covering these last days and what cool the next days bring, especially the next week, which is the inauguration week. We have Donald Trump assuming presidency on that week. It will not be a market day. It's going to be, I think, the 28th of November. Of January. I don't know why I said November, but it's the next week, basically. But yeah, let's begin with this NVIDIA chart. So today is the 16th of January. We see a very powerful crash right here. Extremely powerful, guys. This is very, very hard. Look at this. From the highest to the lowest point, it's almost 4%. Not only that, we also saw another massive correction on the 14th of January. Again, massive correction from the highest point to the lowest, 4.5% almost. So these days were very unlucky, especially today, because look at this, guys. I predicted all of this. I told you to expect some green days from the start of the week in Monday 13. So this is Monday. It was a green day. I told you about this in my last video. It was a green day. The price went up. I thought it will be even more volatile. But the 14, and I told you again in that last video, I told you that the 14 was a green circle, but I told you that there's this red box right here, which is 14 to 16. So we're talking about days where it's going to be a danger zone, guys. Now, remember, the boxes tend to have a higher hierarchy than the circles. So if you see a circle right here, for example, it says 14 on the green, and the box says the same day on the red, it's more likely to see that happening on the red. Or it could just be a very extremely volatile day, or a weak pump in the most unlikely scenario. So we saw a very powerful correction right here. Now, because this is a range of like 3 trading days, 14, 15, and 16 possibly, I was only expecting for the 14 or the 15 to be that day, a very volatile correction. It was on the 14, but today we also have another massive correction, very powerful volatility right there. So we got 2 days that fit the exact warning signals that this danger zone was telling us. The 16 was clearly on the red circle right here. We got the 15. Also, the 15 was a green day. There was a chance right here. There's a circle right here. Volatility, again, there was some kind of volatility on that day, but really nothing compared to what we saw today and the 14. So it's very crazy, but what I predicted, everything just ended up happening, just like I told you. This danger zone is the last of the week, so tomorrow it's going to be, I think, we have a yellow day, the 17th, so it could either mean volatility or range. I think the price is going to stay on range. I think it's going to be a relaxed day. I think nothing much can happen on that day. So we'll maybe see the day where the price begins somewhere and ends on the similar position, something like that. For example, something like right here on the 10th of January, for example, Friday, also a Friday. So we're noticing that Fridays tend to be, for the most part, very relaxed days. At least the majority of the day, the trading pattern is very in range. So maybe we can expect that to happen tomorrow. Now for the next week, it's going to be a very volatile week, very, very volatile. Since the 20 is not a market day, the next day is the 21, which is on the red. So we could see some corrections right there, and if it's very volatile and if it goes both according to this circle, we could see a very volatile correction. Okay, something similar to these percentages. After that comes a range of days where it's going to be more, it's very likely to see some pumps, some uptrends, 22, 23, and from the 23 to the 24, only 2 days, we see a potential for a big opportunity, okay? The opposite of this danger zone. So if I were to say, I think I would expect this to happen more on the 23rd of January, because the 24 has red energy, so maybe that day will be more in range or more volatility where it's going to be kind of undecided. But that's basically my signals for the next week, at least for the NVIDIA. There's been other things going on with other stocks that I'm analyzing, but those are not public predictions. Those are private predictions, and I cannot share them, okay? So the other one that we'll be talking about is the gold prediction. Let's take a look at the gold chart. And again, these days, from the last green zone, which was from the 8 to the 12, we saw 3 consecutive green days. Again, I covered all of these in previous videos, so you need to watch them if you want to get more information. But basically, only the 12th was a very volatile day, and that's the day where, especially in the 13th, but on the last hours of the 12th of January, we see this correction begin to form. Now, gold moves kind of slowly compared to other assets in this regard, so it's kind of a combination of these both days that kind of form this correction right here. It's a powerful correction, volatile even. So the 13th yellow day, very volatile day, it basically ends on a similar position to where it opens, something like this. Okay, so the 14th was also a very volatile day. Now this one was kind of more undecided. You can see that the price kind of goes up and down, and where it recovers and where it ends, which is somewhere around here, is also a similar position. Okay, now for the 15th of January, technically it was part of this green circle right here, and this, I mean, from this red circle and the red box, the danger zone. So far we really have not seen any of these danger zones panning out. For example, on this exact range of days, we have that the 15 was at most or at worst, depending on how you look at it, a weak pump, a weak uptrend, but nonetheless it had a much higher position than it opened. So there were some red energies for the day. You can see this massive crash right here, but it managed to recover in like complete normalcy. So it's a green day. I mean, there's no other way to look at it. Okay, so the 15th was not a red day, was not any of that sort. Now the 16th was more volatile. Okay, the 16th to the 17th, we could see some volatility. Now that day is today, which is right here. So where it starts and where it's currently at, we're looking at almost 1%, and to the highest point, it's a clean 1%. So this is very, very high. I mean, this is a high percentage for gold. Remember, this is not cryptocurrencies. These are not stocks or forex. We're going to see 3%, 5%, and in the cryptocurrencies case, we'll see even 10%, something like that. Now for gold, it's way more smaller because gold is very unique. I told you guys this before. So it was very volatile for gold today, and tomorrow is the last day of the danger zone. Remember, these danger zones, they don't really mean that it's going to see all of these days from the 15th to the 17th, all of them red, or in this case from the 8th to the 12th, all of them green. Okay, the bigger the zone is, the range of days. For example, in this case, we see many days, several consecutive days. And in this case, we only see 3 market days, 15, 16, and 17. So the bigger the range of days, the more likely we see more days of this energy. Okay. So far, like I told you, nothing has happened so far. So tomorrow is the last day of the danger zone. So maybe using just absolute logic, we could see that nothing much is going to happen tomorrow, okay? But that's not according to my experience. You see, even if the last day Even if in a danger zone or a green zone, we see that none of these days except the last have not really played out as expected. Doesn't really mean we can safely assume that it's going to be that case, and it's not, and nothing is going to happen the final day. So we need to be prepared for any potential powerful corrections, and by powerful I mean 1% loss maybe, or at least as close as 1%. So maybe back to these levels, which will be similar to this. It's kind of a nice support zone because right here it's the support and it's the resistance right here of these days of the 10. But yeah, gold is clearly going up on this month. This January, gold is going really high. Okay, gold is most likely to go high when you have geopolitical tensions, very deep geopolitical tensions. In this case, there's this inauguration, lots of talk about the Trump administration, about his policies, about all of that. So it's normal that we see this today on gold. After that, maybe some volatile days. After this danger zone, I think the gold is just going to keep going up and up and up. Okay, from the 2021, I see a big possibility of more green days, especially if they connect with some volatility. They will go very high. Okay. Well, yeah, basically that's all I have for you. Okay, so I invite you all to subscribe, share, and like. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.